Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I have a viewer request. We're going to be taking a look at 10 unsolved mysteries from World War II. Also, I apologize in advance if I mispronounce any German words that are going to be included. So without further ado, let's dive in. Number 1. The Nazi Gold Train. In April of 1945, it became clear to the Nazi forces that the war was almost over and it wasn't going in their favor. According to some accounts, they loaded a train with all Nazi treasure, including gold and other valuables looted from Jewish victims of the Holocaust, and sent it on a trip through the Owl Mountains, where it disappeared. Many speculate it vanished into tunnels created in the mountains as part of a secret facility built during the war. In spite of efforts, the ghost train has never been recovered. Number 2. Disappearance of Flight 19. Although this technically happened at the end of the war, the disappearance of Flight 19 is notable in part due to its role in helping establish the legend of the Bermuda Triangle. On December 5, 1945, a training flight of 5 Grumman TBA Avenger torpedo bombers lost contact with the tower while over the infamous patch of ocean. In response to the sudden disappearance, a Martin PBM Mariner flying boat was launched to search for the planes, which were all assumed to have crashed, but unfortunately the Mariner would disappear as well. No wreckage or bodies were recovered, and the cause of the disappearances are still unknown. In total, 27 men and 6 planes vanished into thin air. Number 3. The Pearl Harbor Ghost Plane. On December 8, 1942, an unidentified plane was picked up on the radar heading towards Pearl Harbor from Japan. U.S. planes were sent to investigate. Upon arrival, they discovered the mysterious plane was the Curtiss P-40 Warhawk, the kind that had been used by American forces in the defense of Pearl Harbor, but had not been used since. The crew reported that the plane was riddled with bullet holes and the pilot could be seen. Inside, bloody and slumped over the cockpit. They said he appeared to wave briefly at the other planes just before the P-40 crash-landed. Search teams were sent to the wreckage. However, no body was found or any indication of the pilot, just a diary that claimed the plane had flown from Mindanao, an island almost 1,300 miles away. Number 4. The Battle of Los Angeles. In the frantic weeks that followed the Pearl Harbor attack, many Americans believed that enemy raids on the U.S. were imminent. On February 25, 1942, witnesses saw an unidentified object in the sky over Los Angeles. It was described as being round and glowing orange. Before long, searchlights began sweeping the skies, which was shortly followed by the use of anti-aircraft guns, which would fire off more than 1,400 shells at the object. If anything was hit, no wreckage was found. In 1949, the U.S. Coast Artillery Association claimed a weather balloon had started the shooting, while in 1983, the U.S. Office of Air Force History chalked the whole event up to a case of wartime nerves. Number 5. Hitler's Globe. The Columbus Globe for state and industry leaders, also known as Hitler's Globe or Führer Globe, it was made in Berlin in the 1930s specifically for Adolf Hitler. The globe was located in his office for most of its existence. The globe was nearly the size of a Volkswagen car and manufactured at a great expense. It was said to be one of Hitler's greatest possessions, but shortly after the war ended, it was never seen again. Many have claimed to see this globe, and some even say they know where it currently resides. Even as recently as 2007, a similar globe was auctioned off as Hitler's globe for $100,000 after an American soldier named John Barsamian claimed to have found it in the ruins of one of Hitler's homes, Berghof, but historian Wolfram Pobens disputed, saying it was merely a copy of the globe that is thought to be owned by Joachim von Ribbentrop, a Nazi foreign minister. For now, no one has a definitive answer on where Hitler's globe is today. Number 6. Die Glocke. During World War II, Nazi propaganda popularized the idea of a number of Wunderwaffe, or miracle weapons, that were supposedly going to help Germany win the war. Most of these weapons remain prototypes or even simply theoretical, but the idea of them entered the public consciousness and has proven fertile ground for science fiction writers over the years. In the year 2000, a Polish journalist named Igor Witkowski described a particularly chilling weapon known as Die Glocke, German for the bell. This bell-shaped weapon was said to be roughly 12 feet tall and contained 2 rotating cylinders filled with metallic liquid known as Zerum 525. When activated, the terrifying weapon was supposed to create a zone of effect around itself that would cause blood to coagulate inside the body and plants to decompose. Many of the scientists who worked on Die Glocke were said to have died during testing, though the weapon was never used and, depending on whom you believe, may never have actually existed at all. Number 7. 17 British soldiers in Auschwitz. In 2009, during excavations of perhaps the most infamous of the Nazi concentration camps, a list was found containing the names of 17 British soldiers. What is unclear is what the list was a list of. Were these former prisoners of war or defects who joined the SS? What's more is some of the names had marks by them, which seems to indicate something, though what they indicated remains unclear. Number 8. Who turned in Anne Frank? Through her famous diary, Anne Frank has become one of the most well-known voices of the atrocities of the Holocaust. The diary was written while Frank was hiding in Amsterdam, but ultimately died in the Bergen-Belsen concentration camp. While her diary shed light upon much of her life, the reason for her death remains a mystery. Someone must have reported her, but who ultimately made the anonymous call that led to the capture and execution of Anne Frank and her family? Although multiple suspects have been named over the years as more evidence is being investigated, but unfortunately what we know is this: no one really knows who turned in Anne Frank and her family. Some theorize that it may have just been bad luck. Number 9. The blood flag. Before the rise of the Third Reich, the infamous Nazi flag had already made its appearance during Hitler's failed beer hall putsch of 1923. During the fighting that followed, the flag was soaked in the blood of Nazi brown shirts and became a potent symbol of the movement. Throughout the war, Hitler would use replicas of the flag, which was sometimes referred to as Blutfahne or blood flag, in rallies, but the flag itself was last seen in 1944. Some believe that the blood-stained flag was destroyed during the Allied bombing of Munich, while others assert that the flag still exists. Many have claimed ownership of it over the years, but no claims have been proven. Number 10. Big Stoop. Even though the war was fought more than 70 years ago, the number of Allied soldiers who remain unlisted as MIA is staggering, clocking in at more than 70,000. Many of these men disappeared in the war's Pacific theater, where oceans, islands, and jungles made recovery and discovery different. Among these were the crew of a B-24 bomber called Big Stoop, which was shot down near Palau. For decades, the plane and its crew were considered lost, with no wreckage or bodies to be found. It wasn't until 2004 that the plane's fuselage was located by a team of divers, and not until 2010 that the families of the crew were able to bury at least some of their bones in Arlington National Cemetery. Though, mysteries still surround the exact fate of the bomber. These are just a few of the strange and unexplained events that took place during World War II. Even when mysteries of war find solutions, the fog that war leaves behind often obscures as much as it reveals. There is no doubt that the aftermath of World War II left many secrets, some of which we may still not be aware of even today. Hey guys, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to the viewer who suggested this topic. I enjoyed researching this and giving myself a mini history lesson, so thank you. And also, thank you to the viewers once again, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!